Hello and welcome, influencers. Hello and welcome to 12 Ways to Dominate in the New Year. It is such an honor to serve and support you on your journey in the marketplace and in your life. So I am super excited. This is 12 days we get to be united and really get clarity and focus about your next steps. What is the new year going to look like and feel like to you? It's very important that we get still and get quiet and commit to this journey because this is about your new beginning. This is about the next steps to embarking upon a brand new journey. Imagine what that's going to look like for you when you really get intentional about your next steps. So, because you decided to be here, you decided to sign up for this amazing opportunity, it is my intention to serve and support you. It is my intention to give you great content. No fluff. I would love for this to be an experience for you that is life changing. I would love for this to be an experience for you that is insightful, that is inspiring, that will help you to propel, launch, and execute your God given assignment. Because the one thing that I know to be true is that you have purpose, right? So, welcome to day one. 12 ways to dominate in the new year. So, today we're going to be talking about how to discover your sphere of influence. So, I want to first and formally welcome you to day one, right? This is a 12-day journey. And before we get into the content on today, I just want to go over the logistics. I want to go over what you can expect and what it's going to look like to be a part of this experience. Because this is not just another webinar. This is an experience. This is life changing. And this is about you moving forward with clarity and focus. So I would love to have giveaways. We have giveaways that we're going to be doing that's going to be a part of the live experience. So I'm going to highly encourage you to join us live if your schedule permits, right? Because we are giving away great giveaways. We're in the spirit of giving, and it's the holidays. It's a great way to just build rapport with you and be a blessing to you and your family. So let's get into the expectations of what this is going to look like. So this is 12 days of self-discovery, planning, and preparation. Okay, so what this is going to look like is I am going to go over some life principles and practices to help you grow, develop, in life and business. I know that some of you are entrepreneurs. I know that some of you are aspiring entrepreneurs, and it is my intention to give you life principles and practices that will help you to grow and to develop those skills. All right. What I'm clear about is you have a set of skills, you have gifts and talents, and we are ready to ignite those gifts and talents. We are ready to propel, launch, and execute with those God given gifts and talents. Okay, so each day you are going to receive access to the live trainings, and you will receive the replay to each training within 24 hours of each session. Okay. Oh, and what it's going to look like to be a part of this live experience is 30 to 45 minutes of your time. We're going to have live Q&A. We're going to have giveaways. We want it to be interactive. We want it to be social. Those of you that are new to me, listen, you are in for a treat. I am easy going. I'm transparent, and I love to share my experience. I love to share what it is that I know that will help you to propel, launch, and execute your dream, because it was not just 7 years ago when two masked gunmen entered my home and held me at gunpoint. It wasn't just 7 years ago when I had no clue of who I was or what I was called to do in the marketplace. But that night on November 2007, when those two masked gunmen held me at gunpoint, it was the trauma that changed my life forever. Because in that moment, I asked God to help me. I asked God to help me. And in him helping me, he has led me to this very point, to this very place in my life, to now be an international speaker, to be a 6-time international best-selling author and publisher, right? So I am excited about the information, the insight that I have the privilege to share with you, to make your journey easier, to make your journey just a little bit smoother, because I know that life happens. I know that life and distractions get in the way, but I am here as your guide, and I'm here more importantly as your support, as your accountability, because I believe that we need support and accountability. If it's just one person, that's enough. And I want to be that for you. All right. So there's a few dates that I want you to keep in mind. Okay. Those dates are December the 16th and the 17th. It's this coming Thursday and Friday. You will have access to pre-recorded content for that day. Okay. So there will be no live presentation. The content will already be pre-recorded, and we're going to give you access to that as if it was a live presentation. So you'll get access to it via email at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And so, of course, on those 2 days, there is no replay required. All right. So that's just the logistics. Again, just to recap that for you, all of the trainings will be available to you if you are not able to participate live on December. I'm sorry, they will be available 24 hours within the training. All right. And December the 16th and the 17th will be pre-recorded trainings that you will get. There will be no live presentation. All right. Okay, there's no questions. Okay. So moving right along, our topic of discussion today is, again, discover your sphere of influence, right? Discover your sphere of influence, right? When we talk about this journey called life, when we talk about the experience in life, it's very important that we get clarity and focus. It's very important that we learn to get still and get quiet to get to know ourselves a little bit better, right? Because these experiences in life, they cause trauma, they cause pain, they cause disbelief and worry, but there's also this thing called abundance. All right, teachable experiences, triumph, victory. Those experiences also lead to that. So I want you to begin to get clarity and focus about who you are and what you are called to do. This isn't about your mom, your father. This isn't about your sisters, your brother. This isn't about your spouse. This is about you seeking clarity about you. Because I believe everything begins and it ends with you. What are you talking about, Anika? I am talking about your well-being, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being. It matters. Everything begins and it ends with you. So without you, the vision cannot flourish. Without you, there is no vision. So we got to begin to learn to embrace ourselves on a deeper level, learning to get vulnerable with ourselves. So I want you throughout these 12 days to really give yourself at least 30 minutes a day to get clarity and focus, because we want you to discover your uniqueness. We want you to discover your sphere of influence, because we all have one. So these are just a couple of questions that I want you to begin to ask yourself, right, before we get started. These are the 2 questions. Write these down. Really give them thought. Give them thought. So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, I want to be remembered as someone who. I want to be remembered as someone who. Don't be quick to respond. Don't be quick to respond. I want to be remembered as someone who. Really give that thought, because this is about your living legacy. This is about the living legacy that you want to live and leave behind. I believe that we should live in abundance. We should enjoy the manifestations of our life right now, today. Yes. So who do you want to be remembered as? What does that look like and sound like to you? Really get clarity about that, because that's who you're seeking. That's who you're pursuing. That's who you're creating. That's who you are developing. Come on here. So the second question is, how do I serve other people? How do I serve other people? It is my belief, those of you that are new to me, I share with you my story of how I got started almost 7 years in business, right? But I am a mother. I'm a mother of 4. I have a daughter who's in college. She's about to graduate. Thanks be unto God. I have 2 teenage boys, young men, 18 and 19. And I have a young son, 11 years old. So when I speak to you, I speak to you from a place of experience. I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I've been a wife. And so it's very clear about, you got to get clarity about who do you want to serve. I believe that we're called to serve. We're called to serve in whatever capacity that is. And we're going to get to that sphere of influence, because we all have an influence on someone's life, regardless of your past, regardless of your failures, regardless of the things that you're not proud of that you've done. They are the making of who you are, right? So how do you want to serve others? How do you serve others? Be clear about that. All right, so let's get into this topic of discovering your sphere of influence, because I don't want to assume. Some of you may know exactly what your sphere of influence is, and some of you may be struggling to identify what that is. But one thing that I know to be true is that, number one, we all have purpose, right? We all have it. Not one individual that is on this earth does not have purpose, but it's our responsibility to identify what that purpose is. So I have a responsibility to self, right? So I got to, number one, get clarity about why I exist. Why was I created? Because you're not just a wife. You're not just a mother. And I know that sometimes, speaking for myself, I got consumed with just being a wife and just being a mother. I lost sight of Anika, her dreams, her aspirations, the things that she decided that she wanted to do and had passions about. Right? So you don't want to lose yourself. You can still live out your dreams and aspirations and be a wife and be a mother and be a companion to whoever you have relationship with. But we want to identify our purpose. We want to be intentional with identifying our purpose, right? So why do you exist today? Why were you created, right? And so let's get into the spheres of influence. There are 7 spheres of influence, okay? And that includes, number 1, worship/religion. Number 2, family. Number 3, media. That has to do with everything: podcasting, TV, blogging, video blogging, magazines, right? Media was number 3. Number 4, government, politics. That may be your sphere of influence. That's something that you are passionate about. That's something that you are intrigued and interested in. Number 5, education. You educators, you teachers, right? Those of you tech people. You fall into this category of number 5, education and technology. You science innovators, creators, developers. Number 6 is economy. It has to do everything with finance, business. You coaches, you experts, you consultants. This has everything to do with you. Number 7, arts and crafts, arts and culture, entertainment. Those of you who have gifts of song, those of you, again, who are artistic, we all have a purpose and we all have a sphere of influence, meaning we all have an audience. We all have a group of individuals that are tied to us. They are connected to your story and your message. The very thing that you went through has led you to this point. Now it's time for you to say, yes, I commit to the assignment. Yes, I commit to the calling. Yes, I'm willing to persevere and see it through, right? Because we are going to do things differently as we embark upon this new year. We are taking out time to do self-discovery, planning, and preparation. We are taking out the time to be intentional with our next steps. Because we got to get clarity and focus. We got to begin to seek out how do I serve? Who do I want to serve? How do I want to be remembered? Right? So let's list that again for you. The 7 spheres of influence are, again, worship and religion, 2, family, 3, media, 4, government, politics, 5, education and technology, 6, economy, finance, business, 7, arts and craft and entertainment. Okay. So here's what I want you to take away from this is that each sphere is unique and it serves its purpose. Each sphere is unique and it serves its purpose. So no one sits in just a single sphere. Can you answer this, please? It's my daughter. No one just sits in a single sphere. Everyone has a sphere of influence. And for some of us, we have several spheres of influence. There are several areas that we are passionate, that we are interested in, that we are excited to learn and grow in that area. For example, number 1, religion. I believe that my business is my ministry. I believe that wholeheartedly that my business is my ministry. All right. I started in business with my ministry. So for me, as I begin to grow and develop, right, in ministry, and I transition into the marketplace with my business, I begin to tap into other influences. Okay. For me, number 6, I begin to tap into that. I became a publisher of, well, hold on, before I became a publisher, I became an author, a best-selling author, #1 best-selling Amazon author with my first memoir, Diaries of an Elect Lady. And so I began to transition into the sphere of business, right? Being that expert, being that coach. And as I began to grow and develop in that sphere, it has opened up so many other doors for me. I became a speaker and began to travel internationally, been invited to London to speak and be paid, might I add. Again, I don't say these things to brag. I say these things to inspire you because, again, remember, I was Anika from the hood, Anika who sold drugs, Anika who did drugs. But God spared my life on November 7th, right? 2007, he spared my life. So I'm here to share with you that your story and your message is what's going to catapult you to your next level. There is a sphere of influence that you operate in, or there are spheres of influence that you operate in. Give yourself permission to explore what that looks like for you. Because again, no one sits in just a single sphere. You may operate in several spheres, but begin to discover which sphere you can yield to today. All right. So now you want to begin to gain clarity and focus. When you really get clarity and focus about what sphere of influence you operate, what you're called to do, this is about your gifts and talent. This is about your passions. These are some questions that I want you to begin to ponder and think about. You want to have clarity and focus. So what I want you to begin to do is think about, who do you want to serve? Who do you want to serve in that sphere of influence? Remember, each sphere comes with an audience. Each sphere comes with an audience. So who do you want to serve, right? How do you want to serve? Right? How does your knowledge and your experience help you to serve in that capacity? See, my experience as being in domestic violence relationships, as being a drug addict, a drug dealer. Those experiences in life gave me great content. It has gave me great knowledge. So your experiences have given you a way of escape. They have given you a problem to solve in someone else's problem, because you're the way of escape. So how does your knowledge, how does your experience help you to serve? What are the solutions to the problem, to the pain, to the struggle that you solve? So I want you to begin to explore your audience, because as you begin to discover the sphere of influence, you're going to begin to discover the audience that you are called to serve and support. Might I add, you are called to serve and support. So when you are thinking about the solution that you bring to the table, the problem that you solve, and how you bring this solution to their problem, to their pain, to their struggles, you got to first get clarity about what their problem is. What are their pain points? What is their struggle? What is it that they're struggling with? I know those of you that are here that you opted in, you want a way of escape with your self-discovery, with planning and preparing your next steps. And so we're going to give you practical strategies on how to do that. The next thing you want to think about is, what is your message? What is your message? What is your movement? What is it that you are offering to your audience? Okay, so those are just a few things that I want you to begin to think about as you get still and get quiet. So let's just recap for a moment. I know this is a lot of information to digest, but it is great content to get you started with your self-discovery and planning for your next steps. So you want to identify what is your sphere of influence, or what are the spheres of influence that you have passion about, that you are interested in, that you want to learn and grow in. What is that area for you? And then take it a step further to get the clarity and focus that you need. So those are just a few questions that you can really begin to ask yourself. All right. And last but not least, before we end this training, is I want you to always understand that this is a journey. This is something that I remind my clients often, that this is a journey, because it is so easy to become consumed with what you see. And what happens is we begin to compete and compare. And so I want to eliminate that. And I want you to declutter the mind. I want you to declutter the mind and do it daily. So what that looks like for you is renewing your mind with the understanding is that I am success. Success is me. Regardless of your imperfections, your insecurities, your flaws, the things that you may still struggle with, it doesn't matter, because you're making an intentional choice to choose to live. You're making an intentional choice to choose to grow. That's why you opted into this opportunity. So you got to declutter your mind when you get in that space of when you're comparing, when you're competing, when you're putting yourself down and you're not building yourself up. You need to connect with a like-minded individual and remind yourself and renew your mind that I am success. Success is me. Because success has nothing to do with material things. It has everything to do with your mindset. You got to think of the person that you are developing. You got to think of the person that you are pursuing. You got to already know who she is before she blossoms, before she flourishes. So before I became the international speaker, before I became the 6-time best-selling author, right? I had to believe that I was her. I had to believe it, and not just believe in it. I had to affirm and confirm her daily by uplifting her and getting connected with like-minded individuals that can pour into me as I pour into my audience. that can build me up as I build my audience up. We all need support and accountability. So have a sound ear, all right, as you begin to go on this journey. This is not a race, but this is a journey. You are becoming, you are evolving. So give yourself grace. So remember, success is a mindset. So declutter your mind and declutter it daily, because abundance is about revolving in appreciation of your life today and what's to come. I'll say that again. It's of appreciation of your life today and what's to come, right? The joy and the strength of mind. I believe that with all of my sincerity for you, but you have to believe it for yourself, right? So in my closing, here's what I want you to do in discovering your sphere of influence. If you don't hear anything else that I say, take away this. It's an acronym. It's TAA, right? TAA, and it stands for you have to track, assess, and adjust. On this journey, as you discover your sphere of influence, track, assess, and adjust. This is your life for creation. This is your life to set the narrative, not your naysayers, not your haters, not even your inner critic, right? But we're going to choose to live and track and assess and adjust our life. And we're going to continue to do that daily. Track, assess, and adjust. Make the necessary changes to produce the results that I want to manifest in my life. So what changes are you willing to make? What changes are you willing to make as you discover your authentic self, as you discover your sphere of influence? Because there's an audience that needs you to show up and show out for them. They need your story, your message, and your strategy. They need you. All right. So I know no one is live with me today, but we would have loved to do Q&A with you, to take your questions and to make it personal with where you are right now. So I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. You can reply back to our email thread, or you can email me personally at anika@choosetoliveenterprises.com. That is with one E. Again, Anika, choosetoliveenterprises.com. All right, influencers. So this concludes day one of our 12 ways to dominate in the new year. So I want to recap what we went over today, because hopefully as we go along this journey, this 12-day journey, there are questions that I love to ask just to make sure that you are comprehending and interpreting the content that is being given, right? It's my belief that I meet you where you are and that you get a clear understanding and a takeaway from this experience, okay? So day one was all about discovering your sphere of influence, right? So these were about life principles and practices to help you grow and develop in life and business, okay? So you have two questions. I want to be remembered as someone who, and how do I serve other people? Those are your two questions that I really want you to give thought to and sound. And share with me if you would like my feedback, or just share with me what that looks like for you. I would love to hear from you. And again, our recap of our content, purpose was number one that we talked about. We all have it. Number two was we begin to identify the 7 spheres of influence. The takeaway from that is, remember, no one sits in a single sphere. Okay, so each sphere is unique and it serves its purpose. What is that going to look like for you? So we went through some questions. Number 3, on gaining that clarity and focus. So those were questions of, who do I want to serve? How do I want to serve them? Right? How do you want to serve them? Is that going to look like you being an expert, a coach, a consultant, a blogger? What is it going to look like for you? Okay. How does your knowledge and your experience help you to serve your audience? Okay. And what are the solutions that you bring to the table when it comes to solving their problem, their pain, their struggle? What is the problem? What is the pain? What is the struggle that they're dealing with? Right. And so, what is your message in that? What is your message? What is your core message? What is your movement? What is it that you're going to be offering them? And last but not least, number 4 was you want to declutter the mind, and you want to do it daily. Right. Okay. And that has everything to do with TAA, right? TAA, track, assess, and adjust. Track, assess, and adjust. All right, influencers, I want to again thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. I look forward to this journey with you. I look forward to the live interaction. I look forward to just connecting with you and building an authentic relationship. So until next time, listen, I will see you tomorrow for day 2. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I can't wait to meet you all. Have a great day and choose to live.